Hey, Casual here, and welcome to the stream. It's been a while. Good to see some of you are on. And let me just check the chat is working right. Alright, now I can see everything. Hey, good to have some of you on. I can see there's a couple of viewers. So in this stream I wanted to cover a few things, really, the state of the game, as I put it in the title of the thumbnail. I'm just going to move that so it's slightly better and I can look at it more directly. So, yeah, Outriders Worldslayer has been out now for, well, coming up in 2 months, month and a half, say, something like that. And I'm very interested in, what your thoughts on the game are. And also to talk through my own thoughts on the game and where things are. And also, really, it sort of then links into, what am I going to be doing with my channel. And please do shout if the volume is not so good. Looks like it's peaking all at the right levels at the moment. And do shout out if you're on there and let me know where you go, who's on, and where you are. So let's talk about the state of the game. So we were saying it's been out for coming up on 2 months. Worldslayer has, and I think there are, for me certainly, a number of issues with the game at the moment. And you can certainly see it in the Steam numbers that they're dropping off dramatically, or have dropped off already. When I looked probably about a week and a half ago, we were talking about 2,000 peak players on Steam. Now, I know the PC maybe has not always been the biggest market for Outriders, and maybe it's more of a hey Barracks, how you doing? How's the channel going as well? I haven't checked up on that recently, but I must go. If anyone else is on here, well, people are on here, check out Barracks' channel, focusing on Division 2 content. It was. So let's know if that's changed. But yeah, some good stuff on there. So yeah, so I think one of the big issues for me with the game is, one, with Outriders, is a lack of content. And what I really mean by that is a lack of variety of content. I mean, you could argue, okay, we've got expeditions and there are 19 of those. We have the trials, which is a whole new area of all the different zones there. Bit quiet, yeah? Right. Let me wrap it up a bit. Move it a bit closer. How's that, Tempest? Hey, Tempest, how's it going? Is that a bit better? Yeah. Is that any better? Although there's a delay on when you type stuff, and I'll put the sound of the game up just a touch as well, and hopefully that should be better. I can turn this up. Let's turn that one to that one, and let's see how that is. If it's still quiet, from my end it looks like it's coming through fine. But okay, brilliant. Thanks, Tempest. Yeah. So. You've got the challenge really is that, we've got trials, we've got expeditions, but it's all the same stuff. I mean, the enemies are ever so slightly different, but not that much. And so if you play an expedition or you play the trials, you're doing the same things, and very quickly it feels like the same. And I think that's, for me, that is the number one fundamental issue with the game at the moment is, why do we want to keep doing it? Because we're doing exactly the same thing time after time, and that's a real problem. The second thing I think there's a big problem with the game is really the grind is too much. I mean, I don't know how you guys are going, and I'm using sort of various different characters, and but I seem to get to about sort of 60 to 65 level, and by then I pretty much had enough with that character, and it just becomes it's too much. And just the whole sort of the number of things you have to do in order to level up is too much. I saw somewhere that someone was saying towards the end you're doing maybe 16 to 20 plus trial runs to go up one level, and if each trial level takes half an hour, if you're doing it pretty efficiently. I mean, I think I saw someone do it in 19 minutes, but that's really speed running. But if say it takes half an hour and you don't have breaks, Okay, so you've got 5 hours to go on one level. So you're talking probably the best part to do the last 10 levels is something like 50 hours of gameplay. And then over 4 characters, that's ridiculous. That's just a crazy amount. And I think for me, I'm wondering more and more, did PCF or did Square Enix drive this? Well, a couple of things. Was this content already developed when they launched, or largely developed when they actually launched the game originally back in April of last year? Did they have it largely ready to go, pulled it because they moved away from this live service model and just gave us the expeditions, rounded them out with New Horizon, and then now given it to us now with the excuse so they can get their extra $40? Because, it is a money game. It's interesting. I'll come on to the money in a little bit, actually, but I suspect that where we are now is much closer to where they intended the game to be than we have been anywhere in the last year and a bit. I think that this sort of model we've got now of the massive grind on levels, which is very live service type. You can see it. It's just that, you think about, Destiny with their power levels, albeit thankfully it sounds like they're starting to go away from them. You've even got in, Division 2, you've got the levels. You've got anything like, I don't know, Final Fantasy 14, you've got World of Warcraft. All of those sort of live service games where you have a grind to get to a certain point. The problem with the grind in Outriders, on top of what I've already talked about, is that that's all there is. And it feels to me actually that this content, they come out and they've basically given us this little bit extra in the trials, and then said, okay, how do we keep people playing? And the answer is to make the journey to max level, to level 75, incredibly arduous. Because not only is it the time it takes to get the experience, it's also the resources you need to keep leveling up your gear. Because the reality is, by the time you get to, I don't know, somewhere around level late 50s, early 60s, you've got your build. You have your build pretty much there. You may not have every single one of the things of the Apocalypse Gear mods, but you're pretty damn close to it. So then all you're doing is grinding for resources to level up that gear. And it's painful. Particularly the Anomaly Extract, that is just way too much. When I think, I was leveling up one of my characters around level 63, and it's sort of, 3,000 Anomaly Extract each time to level up one piece of Apocalypse Gear. And you get, when you dismantle one, you get 20 odd. And I'm like, seriously? I mean, I know this game has become a bit of just a pure dismantle, but that to me is too much. We shouldn't be in that position. Then I think the other thing is on builds, and maybe builds in gear. I think is the other big thing, because for me, Apocalypse Gear has actually made every other piece of gear completely irrelevant. I don't know if you guys tell me if you do the same thing as me, which is I do a run, and then I automatically dismantle anything that isn't an Apocalypse Gear, because I know it won't be better than what I've got already. Yeah, just reading your comment, Barox. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's, I mean, I think, yeah, I agree. There almost needs to be a bit of a grind, but it's just the lack of variety in the content that then makes it so just too much. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking, you think back to the original base game Tempest, and to get from, challenge tier, if you did it maximum world tier, you came in at challenge tier 9, and you had to get to challenge tier 15, and each time you completed an expedition, you went up a level. And I'm just thinking, that grind felt far more achievable, and the grind then was more about getting the gear. Here it feels like the grind is more about just that leveling up and making that as onerous as possible. And I agree with you. I think what they should have done is to have made that grind much easier, allowed us to get to max level quicker, and to be focusing much more on build creation. I think, the other thing, when we talk about, let's go back to variety of the content, because the trials are fundamentally the same as expeditions. Yeah, they're probably slightly, well, they're not even that quicker. I mean, well, on my, I put out that build guide for the Techno with we're using Cold Snap, and I'm running expeditions of that in about 5 minutes. And the gear is not probably, I think, to me it feels like the gear in expeditions is not as good as in the trials, but it's so quick to do that, and so easy. That's probably the most efficient way for me to actually level up and to get gear, but you do then run into the problem with the anomaly extracts. God, I forgot where I'm going now. But I think the problem is, so the thing is, you then got basically the trials and expeditions are pretty much identical. Yeah, I'm Max Pie. I mean, you're right. I mean, I haven't even got to 35 on any of my characters because I'm just like, oh, this is, I think my max one is probably about 30, and I'm like, I'm not sure. I will probably take one of them to 40, but certainly not all 4 of them. And I just think, they going back to the variety then, you fundamentally got exactly the same gameplay. And this is where I think this, when they came out of Worldslayer, they should have come out with something more. I mean, the campaign felt like it was just thrown on. I mean, it's 2 hours to do the campaign. That is, that's just way too short. And then I think, then you've also got the, they should have waited to then develop some types of different gameplay. And what I'm thinking about. I mean, you look at, say, the Division when it got to its final state, and all the different game modes it had. So some sort of survival mode, some sort of resistance, horde wave mode. Albeit we have some aspects of that within the expeditions. There has to be something in there, and I think the thing that this game now fundamentally misses out on is PvP. Hey Lobo, no thanks, no, I'm glad you like them. There will be more coming. I sound a bit negative about it because I think one of the challenges, and I think Tempest, you're probably in the same position as me, is we love this game. I mean I've been playing this game since February the 25th, I think the demo came out, and I absolutely love the game, but I'm just like going, this game is going to die, unfortunately, because there's not enough here to keep people coming back. And so I think, although I hate to say it, in some respect, I think this would have been better as a live service game. I think the model they've got at the moment just doesn't work because of that lack of variety. With a live service, I mean, just think, the thing I think about with live service would have been, okay, this week you have you remember we had all the bounty hunts and the hunts for the animals, but the bounties and the hunts. Think about if you had like a special one that they just rolled out into there, and extra hard. You might even make it so that yes, you could solo it, but it's tough. A challenge, a bit like the Nightfalls in and the Grandmaster Nightfalls in Destiny. Something that something, or maybe it's one of the expeditions. You go, we're going to put this on legendary mode, and it needs to come. Maybe you just do that for a 2-week period, something like that. And when you think about it, it's pretty easy to do for them, because all they got to do is change the modifier as to how the enemies scale off you. I mean, they've already done it within the trials with the way that in certain zones they get progressively harder just because they are a higher level. Okay, give us an expedition where they're 5 levels above us, which is more than we get in the trials, and give us some sort of loot in there, that is worth going for, or something. You get a ton of anomaly extract. You get a choice of any of the legendaries that you want, and you can re-roll the Apocalypse mod on it. Hey, that would be awesome. That would be something, and it would keep us coming back. Right now, I'm looking and going, this game is going to have a small core base. People like us who, I think, everyone who's on this watching live stream, and thanks everyone for coming. We are the core. We are the people who have been playing this probably since start. But it's becoming more and more of, okay, there are other games that are going to be coming out, and probably a lot of us will go, okay, enough is enough with what we've got at the moment. I think the other interesting thing is, for me, Apocalypse gear was a massive mistake. It sounds great, doesn't it? 3 mods, fantastic, become even more powerful. But the grind to try and get the pieces, and the fact that only certain mods fall on certain pieces of gear. And if you haven't picked that up, there's a tweet that Outriders put out about it. I actually might try and put a link onto it on my website somehow so people can get to it. There's a spreadsheet they put out that shows which tier 3, it's all the tier mods, which piece of gear they can fall on, whether it's headgear, chest, legs, feet or gloves. And it's typically 1 for 1. And what I mean for that is, say a power simulation only drops on, I think it's chest pieces. It will not drop on anything else that you get. That takes the whole build creation and makes it far more difficult, because you've got to try and plan out from that. Plan out for that, he said in English. But the other thing is just, trying to get, that extra level of RNG that's now in there, I think has made it, almost impossible. You'll have noticed it. I mean, if you watched Lobo, you obviously watched some of my videos, my build guides, and you'll see that a lot of them, I'm like, well, actually, I've got 3 dead mods on here. And that's because I've been grinding for maybe 2 days trying to get, and I'm playing maybe 8 hours a day. But I'm grinding for that long, so say 16 hours, and I'm still 3 short. So, I think for me, Apocalypse gear was actually a big mistake, because now it has, 1, killed every other type of gear that you don't want it, and 2, it's just the RNG is just brutal. Let me just catch up on some of the comments. So, I agree about Barrex. I mean, I think it's. I think you're right. That probably it'd be interesting to see how much money they've now made. There was, funny enough, I had this I wouldn't say it was an argument, but it's one of these things in one of the Facebook forums where someone was telling me that PCF had not made any money from Outriders, and that blatantly is not true if you actually look at their financials. So look, full disclosure, my background is I used to be a CFO of a large insurance group, so finance was everything I used to do. So I understand about how some of these things worked. So I went and had a look at all their financials, and you could see that the way PCF used to be paid for these sort of things was all of their development costs were covered by the publisher. Basically, it was on a cost plus. So they say it costs us, I don't know, $100,000 in this period. You give us 110. And you can see it because their profit margin has been pretty consistent over the entire point of development. So PCF made money on Outriders. The comments came out because there were comments about they hadn't received any royalties. But the challenge is, or the thing is that the royalties only make up a tiny portion of PCF's income. It's something like 3 to 4% of their income. So it's not really where they make money. So the fact they haven't got any royalties is kind of like, okay, all right. And the reason for that is because, well, one of the interesting things was the CEO or the president of PCF said that he didn't know what went in Square Enix calculation to drive the royalties. Which, to me, I was just like, hang on a sec, who the hell negotiated this contract? Because that is insane. You're going to get into a contract and say, you'll pay me royalties. If in certain circumstances. They appear to have gone and said, you'll pay us royalties, but we'll let you decide when we've hit those targets. I'm like, what? And so you just don't know what Square Enix are thrown into this calculation, what overheads, what other costs they've thrown in there, so that now, so far, no royalties have been generated. But I'm really wondering that whether the $40 price tag, as it was for Worldslayer, whether that came more from Square Enix than it is from PCF. And PCF are actually just have because of their contract, just have an obligation to provide certain things, and then everything else is down to Square Enix. But the big question, isn't it, is now they've got that extra $40 from all of these expansions being bought. Have they made enough Square Enix? Well, they'll say, okay, we're done now. We can see that it's not going to get to where we want it to, or will we get more? And will it just end up being... Barragex is spot on. It's a short game and has a couple of DLCs. And, I don't know. I mean, I hope there's more to it, but we will see. Thought I was mid-20s. I am, absolutely. My hair is dyed this colour. No. Sadly, no, I'm not. I'm not in my mid-20s anymore. You can tell from the T-shirt because I actually remember this. So, now I'm a little bit older than that, but I've been playing games my whole life, and this is something that I do this for the YouTube content, really for the passion of it. I really love. I've always wanted to be creative, and this was just that opportunity to go out and do it because of what happened in my life. And so I am a bit older than that. The one I don't get is one of my subscribers keeps calling me Papa, which I'm a little bit worried about that. If he's watching, okay, but let's keep this relationship professional. All I'd say. The mods being tied to gear, I think, are hugely depressing. Albeit, it actually tempers. Just thinking about that first game ever. Oh, Jesus. Well, okay, to put it in perspective, I remember Space Invaders coming out as an arcade machine in 1982, and I played it. So there you go. But my first ever game was actually Pong on the Binatone. Yeah, I can't remember. I know if... what was it? Grey Mark. I remember when he comes out. If he gets on, I know he's older than me. But there's... Hey, look, you never stop gaming. It's gaming's for life. That's what I tell my wife anyway. In television, all right. I vaguely remember that one. Yeah, so my first system I had, I'm trying to remember going back now. I think my first system I personally had, so we had the Binatone, which is like, it was like the precursor or the cheap version of the Atari way back then. And then the first one I had that I played a lot of was the Commodore 64. And all my friends had the ZX Spectrum in the UK. So that was a long time ago. And then when I was at university, I had the Commodore Amiga. So there you go. So that was, we're definitely going back a bit. So, and I think I remember getting Nintendo 64 was probably my first, what I call real console. Albeit I had things like the GBA. Hang on, I can show you. I always keep these things around. So this is for. Oh, there's the camera. So this is the GBA Advanced SP. This is the UK version. So this is probably 30 years old. You know, I can work out what it. See if it's. I'm not sure it's charged up at the moment, but oh yeah. There you go. What game's in it? Oh, Square Enix. Hey, look at that. See, Square Enix going all the way back. This is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance in there. But that's that's one of my passions, is having every single console I possibly can. Most of them wired up to one television. Yeah, so yeah, no, I think Barragesh, you might have got me on that one. So, oh God, where were we? All right, I thought we were the news about the mods. Yeah, one thing about the mods, Tempest, is of course if you only have a certain number of mods tied to each piece of gear, that does mean theoretically you can go and then just grind for them in the trials, because you just say if you know it's the piece you want is on a chest piece, you keep going and doing that. The only problem I think for that is, of course, if you want a chest piece, you've got to go and do the cliffside path, which means you've got to do pretty much the entire trial. Do you really want to do that? So yeah, I mean it's somewhat good, but not great. Yeah, it's still just an absolute grind, that is. So I mean, I just think, well, yes, I mean, I think, yeah, I think build diversity is actually now in probably the worst place it's been, and the reason for that is because of just how difficult it is to get the right pieces of gear. Yeah, the content is, it's not quite balanced off Apocalypse gear, but it's close to it. Yeah, no, I agree. Tempest, you're spot on that. I mean, it's a little bit depressing when you've been trying to grind for stuff and then, you know, you go, okay, well, I can't complete this build. And I think, yeah, I mean, I'm certainly trying to get, with the extra RNG that's now in there, trying to get, and with, yeah, if you think about it, when we used to do builds in New Horizon, we would go and get a blue piece of gear from a vendor that had the right attributes on it. So it had your firepower, your close range damage, long range damage, whatever it is you wanted, or anomaly power. And then you would just level it up and you buy a whole load of them and yeah, hope that you got lucky on the mods. And eventually you would do when you actually improved it at Dr. Zahidi. That's gone now because you want Apocalypse gear. Yeah, so suddenly it's, yeah, that the ability to create builds has gone down a lot. I do like, though, the new gear pieces they brought in. I hate the fact, though, that it feels like they are pushing us so strongly down the path of hybrid builds. So with things like the Shield Beast gear set, and so many of the mods that feel like, yeah, Death Renome, it does firepower and anomaly power, albeit flips. Yeah, Anomaly Echo now is quite a good mod, but it's clearly designed for having a hybrid build that puts stats into both anomaly power and firepower. And I'm like, I don't want to play a hybrid build. I mean, yeah, Shield Beast was fun, great. You know, I loved, it's quite fun. Loved getting your shield up to 100% and getting the massive anomaly power buff, which then fed through the pack skill tree to get your firepower buff. But I don't necessarily want to do that. Yeah, it's just, ugh. But I mean, some of them are. I mean, this is the stupid build. I've now gone from trying to create completely standard builds now to doing things like this, which is just, going for something stupid that may or may work. So I'm probably the only person in the world using, the Maxwell's Demon set. Yeah, see it. Well, Barracks, you say that, I may be covering Division at some point. We'll come on to that in a bit. But yeah, good to see you. Yeah, and I'm actually starting to do more and more of using, non-standard stuff, so that just to make it more interesting in some respects. There's still everyone obviously has, if you're a Technomancer, then you've got your turret build that destroys. If you've got your I haven't hardly even played my Pyromancer, but yeah, lots of people using the Shield Beast on the Trickster, and I said, oh, screw it, why don't I go for the helmet, so I go for the Maxwell's Demon one. And the whole thing about it, the interesting on that is the gear set bonus, you get up to 100% firepower bonus, which of course is huge. It's now the biggest bonus in the game. Elden Ring. Oh, nice. Hey, tell you what, I just hang on, this will probably kill this game, but I just picked up Thymesia today. It's not Elden Ring, but if you do, it's like a indie Dark Souls, and I'm crap at Dark Souls type games. So for me, I'm just playing it for a bit of fun. But you might want to check that out. Maybe do a short video on it or something like that. See, it's definitely not Elden Ring, but it's got a lot of the aspects of Dark Souls games. To the extent that some of it are just blatant copies, like beacons, which are the campfires. You pick up memories instead of souls. It's very similar. I played it only for an hour. Seems okay, and the people who have reviewed it have said it's not too bad as well. So there you go. Yeah, like Bloodborne, it is. Yeah. No, you should, and it's not like expensive. It's like $30, and it's on sale at the moment. Actually, I think I've got it for like 23. So, it's as we'd say in England, it's cheap and cheerful. So I think it's definitely. I couldn't say yet it's worth picking up. Read the reviews. I've not played enough of it, and I'm not very good at those sort of games. Well, yeah, I want to do a Trigger Twitch one. So that's the. Actually, I don't think I've got any Trigger Twitch pieces here. Hang on, let me have a look. That's the. Oh, hang on. Let's get rid of that. So yeah. Now I want to do a sidearm build at some stage. You said reckon Devastator. So I thought initially it would work well on the Technomancer, because the Technomancer I think is the only class that has a sidearm buff within its class tree. But now I have to play around with that. So it's got a 20% within the class tree down, but it's in the wrong place though. The buff is in the basically in the anomaly power bottom tree for the Technomancer. So it's like to try and get to that 20% probably doesn't work. Good on Pyro as well. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, the Pyro firepower seems to be doing really well at the moment. So I mean, it's like one of the ones I want to try as well is the Deadeye on the Technomancer without using snipers, because I'm useless with snipers. I just can't shoot the bloody things. It just becomes ridiculous. Oh, hang on, so I just gotta see what this is. Okay, sorry. Let me just reply to my wife. Got to get the important things in life. All right. Right. Yeah. No, I'm just really curious about doing like a Deadeye one, because you've got that long-range weapon bonus, long-range weapon damage bonus. Has no range on it, so it works all the way down to 0. So can you actually pick the right pieces of the Deadeye set? Albeit, I'm pretty certain the Deadeye set, it's only a 3-piece, and the problem is you'd have to have one dead mod if you didn't want to use a sniper rifle because of the chest piece. I think have I got any of the pants in this? No, that's terminal velocity. Yeah, so I'd like to try that, because of course with the Technomancer you get the 15% buff to your long range damage through your just class ability. Plus then you have everything else you've got coming through the class tree. I'm like, okay, so let's go stupid. Let's make it a shotgun build for a Technomancer, because they never get to do that. Technomancers always typically using their assault rifles or LMGs. They don't very rarely use a shotgun. Okay, and I think that's probably going to be, for me, the focus of my builds going forward. It's going to be some of the more unusual ones. I mean, what I can do is I'll quickly jump it. So this one, as I was saying, the Maxwell's Demon. So you get big buff. You get 100% buff to your firepower, but then you get burn applied to you, but everything around you. And the great thing though is I got that piece with vaccinated on it, and so as soon as the burn gets applied to me, I get a 20% less damage from everything. So I'm like, well, hang on a sec. Yeah, the burn damage is not that much, but that's a massive buff suddenly to that I can run with 100% weapon damage and take a little bit of damage from the actual gear set, and then luckily to get the the gauntlets of the cannonball with bullet kindling on. Which for when you think about everything has been nerfed, it's now pretty good. It's 12% compared to 16% when it used to be 20 to 25. So I mean, it's actually a pretty good one to have. And so every time you apply all those burns, you're doing all this extra damage. Then coupled with, I wanted to go completely. I'm like, I'm not going to. I hate doing shotguns for Tricksters because everyone does shotguns for Tricksters, and I'm like, well, okay, let's do something different. So I got this, this dropped this submachine gun, which works with the gear set. You can't do a shotgun with this gear set because it's assault weapons. But I was like, okay, great. So it's got the critical points. So I'm going to be hitting more crits. It's got the crit damage, perfect. Long range damage, obviously not particularly useful. You've then had the Wrath of Moloch in there, and one of the things I think the Trickster sometimes, or probably struggles with now more than it did do, is AoE, because it's great single target, absolutely superb, wiping out elites. But it used to, you had to rely completely on time rift and pain transfer in order to actually get your AoE damage to be able to do good times, or to get through the content efficiently is probably a better way of putting it. Now, of course, they nerfed pain transfer. So pain transfer used to do 40% weapon damage, 30% anomaly damage. Now it only does 20 and 20, and it's just like, that's a bit crap, really. So my thought was, okay, how can I actually make this build have more AoE damage on it? So you got the Wrath of Moloch, great. So every time I hit a crit and I've got more higher chance of hitting crits, I'm going to do all the fire damage, burn damage. That links into bullet kindling. Then you've got the pain share, which I think is a mod that probably no one uses. But great, every 4 seconds, 30% of my crit damage, which is already buffed quite highly, gets spread to all of the enemies. And then I think, where was the other one? Oh yeah, within the pack skill tree, you got that one. So you then have another 30% of the damage being spread to everything in close range. So I'm still like, oh, hang on, so 30% of all my crit damage, 30% of all my standard damage, and I'm starting to feel actually that solves a lot of the AoE issues that Tricksters may or may not have had. So I've been playing around with it, and I think I'll probably do a build guide on it. I'm still obviously trying to get something like that. I'm just up there. That's not a great piece to have. I mean, obviously the bonus firepower and close range damage is pretty good on it, but Phantom Dash you just don't need. Emergency stance is okay, but I kind of prefer having something like a damage absorber than emergency stance. I think that is okay, but it's not brilliant. So I'd like to replace that entire piece. There's no close range damage on the gauntlets of the cannonball, but other than that, it's a nice piece. That works really well. Again, bullet recycling, yeah, pretty useless for this build. So I would like something different on there. I mean, there are a few things I'm playing around with. Yeah, fancy essential for those speed runs. But yeah, let me just just show you. I mean, this is Temples will know. This is why I normally die when I'm doing any of these things. And let's just do chem plugs. It's one of the easiest ones. So you just get a feel for it. And I might put something out on this within the next week or so. You're also I have to apologise. I have been trying to spend this summer more with my family. So I haven't put that much content out. Really, I'm just going to have to put so yeah, I have been a bit slacking on the videos, but no, that's I mean it's useful for that. But then again, when you got obviously Hunt the Prey, you're zipping around so much anyway. Oh, look at that, it's very dodgy. You can see it does pretty reasonable AoE damage, and yeah, it's okay. I mean, that's not a quick time. I mean, and also I screwed up a few times, but you want to be sort of down about 40 seconds. No, family does come first. I mean, that's definitely right. But it burns through the elites pretty quickly. And yeah, I'm using the... Oh, no, that was bad. I went completely the wrong way, really quick. That one, no, you see it there. The AoE damage is, it hits for, you know, pretty reasonable. I'll jump over when you do that then. So I put it as it's a fun build. I mean, I always like to see if I can get stuff down to about... If I do like Archways in 8 minutes, I always think, okay, that's a good build for that. I don't know if you can get those soon. It's still like that. I mean, it's just not the same as, yeah, the builds, you know, like the Pyromancer builds, the Technomancer builds I put out, the AoE ones where they can wipe. I mean, with the Technomancer build, I can wipe this entire map in about probably under a minute, which is ridiculous. Because I'm doing Stargrave in about 550 with the freeze build, which I did as a joke, but paying attention. So that twisted round is pretty rough. Yeah, I love Thunder's Legacy. I think, yeah, the good thing about this is as well, because I'm using this build, is because I'm using Hunt the Prey to do the reload. I'm not using, I forgot what it's called, spam, okay, the one that reloads based on kills. I'm not using that at all. So it doesn't matter that I have anything on here that I can kill enemies rather than shooting. So, what do you all think about what should come next? I mean, as I said, I think for me, they need to, if they're going to continue this game, they need to do some sort of different game mode that isn't basically the same thing again, just in a different area. And actually, I think I mentioned it, but the other big thing that games like The Division and Destiny really benefit from, really pretty much every game, even WoW, is PvP. Now, I don't think they'll ever do PvP on Outriders because I think the balancing is so difficult to do. But it's certainly when alright, if anyone doesn't know that, I mean, I'm sure most of you do, but if you ever do what I did there, which is forget to reload with the prey, while it's still going through the reload animation, you can hit hunter prey and still reload and you won't lose rounds. Just if you're it seems like I keep forgetting to put switch rounds on. It still seems to be doing okay. But yeah, if you ever do that, it's a good way to pick it up again. But I think as I'd love to see some sort of seasonal events, something like that. Like the hunts, bounties, legendary expeditions. Would I like PvP? I just don't think, I mean, the problem is you have to get rid of all the AoE stuff. Because, otherwise how would you, balance having the my cold snap build in there, freezing everyone? Okay, you can do some sort of resistance to it, but having so much AoE in the game as you have at the moment, AO3, it's okay. I've got to get it quicker. I think make it maybe a minute quicker than that, and it'd be worth getting a build out on it. Yeah, rotation events, Lover, I think is a great idea. Super rare stuff. I think since that, actually, one of the other things. Oh, the game is way louder. I'm careful with that. There you go. That should be a lot quieter now. Sorry about that. There's some of the things in the game which are actually quite frustrating. So you think about it, the transmog system is brilliant. Probably I think one of the best transmog systems in any game, or at least any of the loose shooters. Hang on, let me just get rid of everything. But no one can see it. Is the problem? I mean, you go into a party and you see, for a couple of seconds, someone's going to see it, but it misses out on having some sort of, some sort of hub where you can go and show off your gear, show off your transmog. So I'm just going to swap over to the Techno that's got the freeze build on it, so you can see that one working. So without the you can see how badly I've done at leveling up everything now. So lazy. It would be great. I mean, if they obviously have the ability to put us into instance multiplayer zones, okay. Well, why not actually give us some sort of hubs that we can go to? So, like maybe not Tyro Qatar, but somewhere. Okay, I've got to remember how to play this one. I'll do that Chem Plant so you can see exactly the same one. But somewhere you can go and just hang out with people. I think one would be make it into a proper live service MMO game. I think would also, make it they're out of range. Probably are, actually. I'll do it in a sec. Actually extend the life of this a little bit more as well. All right. So let's pop that. You can see there the cooldown is basically nothing. Oh, I missed one. You see, I mean that's the comparison of having a pure AOE build like that one that can clear it in 30 seconds, and I'm sure if it was actually a better player, it would be even quicker than that. But it's this, it just comes back so quickly, it does, and then you just keep popping it, and it's doing 5 million of damage. Oh no, it's one of those. I have to wait until he comes back on him. Let's get those out. Come on. Ah, no, they're coming. Great. I mean, it's just this. You can see the difference between the two builds here. Just don't give me that. And if I didn't screw that bit, it would have been much quicker. But yeah, I'm here at 1 minute 37. I could go quicker, I think. I've just got to get better. Goodbye. Ooh, we didn't quite die. All right. This is the fun, isn't it? When you just sort of decide, okay, I'm going to make a build that just no one else has done, and just see if we can make it work. And it, as you can see, it kind of works. Do do do. All right. Come on, let's see if we can beat the 550 we did before. Do you want to get on in a bit, Tempest, and play for a bit? Anyone else want to join me? More than welcome to. Do a few runs. We can actually do a trials run, would be cool. Yeah, they popped up afterwards, didn't they? That's right, it's dead. All right, cool. Ooh, missed one. This one always gets stuck in the ceiling. Don't know why. Oh, I missed one. All right, he's coming. All right. Ooh, okay. Let's see if we can get this. So I think actually the one thing I can try and, if I can talk and play at the same time. And by the way, one of the things with these things, you always got to break their shield before they freeze. They won't freeze otherwise. Oh, missed one. Bum. Alright, so it's not going to be a quick one. Pretty quick, but... not bad, though. Yeah, so it's, as far as my channel, I mean, I'm going to continue 522, so that's pretty good time. It's nowhere near, I mean, like, look at the world record ones, and they're just stupid times. 3 minutes. I don't think I'll ever be that good. I'm still going to do Outriders content. So I'm still working on different builds, but it's just the grind is so much that I'm just kind of put off a little bit of actually. Yeah, it's so much harder to create a build now because you need to have the Apocalypse gear in there for it to be a full build, and to show what the build can really do. And it just takes so much longer to create them now, which is, it's killing me. And so I'm going to continue to do the Outriders content. I'll continue to work on builds, but I am absolutely looking for, other games now that, potentially I can pick up and, do some content on. Yeah. And so, I mean, I was going to ask, what games are you all looking for coming up that you think, hey, I'd love to see some content on, whatever it might be? Some of the ones that, I know that everything seems to be delayed at the moment, unfortunately. So you had Dark Tide that was due to be... yeah, the 10% extra was a joke, Tempest. Yeah, Dark Tide was due to be coming out in September, but has now been delayed until November. So that looks really promising, and I think definitely if you're no, that's rubbish. If you're a Outriders fan, I think you'll like Dark Tide by the looks of it. So it's if you've ever played Nevertide, was it Nevertide? It's basically the Warhammer game. This one, though, is with guns in space, more Space Marine type, but looks really good for player. So that one, I was thinking, okay, great, we get to September, then I can start doing some content on that. But that's now been pushed back till November. Then there was Outriders, which there was it was at one of the game shows, I think last year. They put out a trailer for that one, or was it earlier this year? But that one now looks like it's not coming until at least back end of 2023, maybe into 2024. So that one's been pushed back. So I mean, I'm just like sort of looking around in terms of Division 2. Yeah, it's feels like it's stumbling along. But I see as many positive videos as I do negative. I don't know if you guys follow Epic Slayer or Road Gold, and it's just like you get one good one. It's like, hey, title update 10, or season 10, it's going to be brilliant. This great, or this was really good, and then you get the, oh my god, this has just destroyed the game. And I'm just like, so I don't really know what to know about that. Yeah, Dark Tide is the Warhammer game, Tempest, and it's the one where you had like the really big ogre type chap and with the massive bolt gun and things like that, and that looks really cool actually. So I think I would definitely like to play that. There's a few survival ones coming out. I'm really curious, if anyone has a sort of, maybe I'll do a poll, and it might be the easiest way to get it out there to sort of all the subscribers. It's just, okay, what do people want to see? Because there comes a point where it's like, do you need any more build guides for... I mean, I think at the moment there is still some demand. So to give you an idea, my videos at the moment are getting maybe 5,000 or 6,000 views, which is great. I'm very, 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 very happy with that. For a small content creator like me, that's brilliant. But it's coming down. The sort of 2 weeks after the launch of Worldslayer, you were probably talking about, I mean, 16,000 views. So already come down massively. And so you can tell that I think probably there's maybe, you know, so there's about 2,000 people on Steam. I think maybe you've got more than that probably on Xbox because the Game Pass drew a lot of people in. Probably a similar number on PlayStation, but maybe you got 10,000 people playing it at most. But I suspect it's probably more in the 5,000 mark. Yeah, 5 to 10,000, that's probably about it. Which means, you know, so from my point of view of my sort of channel, I love doing the content, or I did. The grind is making it less fun. And so I'm just really keen to look at different games now to see what I can do. Interesting that Barrogex is doing Elden Ring. I wish I was good at Dark Souls games because obviously that was mammoth. Do I like Saints Row? Do you know, I've never played it. So that's a good question. So, I mean, when's that coming out? It's pretty soon now, isn't it? Or is it out already? Yeah, let me know, Tempest. Yeah, I mean, I definitely play. The question is, though, yeah, what is the content that people would want on to see on there? Because, you know, if it becomes sort of like, yeah, I don't know a lot about Saints Row, but if it's just Easter eggs and just messing about, I'm like, yeah, maybe not. Do people really want to watch that sort of stuff? I mean, I'm trying, obviously, with my videos, if you watch the build guide on this build, trying to do things, trying to just spice things up and do things a little bit differently. And we'll continue to do so. But I think definitely over the course of the next 6 months, I will probably play less and less of Outriders unless something big changes, because I just don't think the interest in the game is there as much anymore. Maybe we just do a live stream, yeah, every week, and we'll play some shit. So let me let's okay. All right. Well, it's definitely worth me. Can I actually just invite you from there? Send an invite. There you go. Did you get that invite, Tempest? Party is closed. Actually, hang on a sec. Okay, that's fine now. Let me generate a game code. All right. I'll type it into the chat. Does anyone else want to join us? Yeah, for a bit of a mess about. We can maybe run some trials. Is that an I or a 1? It looks like an I, actually. That's what it looks like. 38 V6, and there's Tempest. Anyone else want to come and join us? This is where I have to see Tempest just destroying everything, because he's average 71. Holy moly. All right. Hey, looking good. Are you going for the green as well? Okay, let's have a look at that. So, nice. Like it. Using Omen. Very good. And you're keeping the same look, actually. Old Cannonball chest plate, and then the All Reliable, or whatever it's called, for the headpiece. Very nice. Anyone else? Before we jump into, we can jump in and just run some trials. Unfortunately, it'll be on my, I think it's on my Apocalypse tier, so you're going to absolutely destroy Tempest. So there you go. Anyone else want to join? Going once. All right, I'll take that as a no. Lobo, do you want to join? Don't want to join? All right. You can just carry me through this, can't you, Tempest? That'd be nice. Man, so you're closing in. Now, this is interesting. You can answer me this question, Tempest. When we're doing this, do the enemies that you see scale to your level? Or do they stay at my level? All right, Cash G. Okay, yeah. All right, hang on. Don't go anywhere. I'll quickly send you I'll generate a new code for you, Cash. There is always space. Well, it's not always space. There's only 3 of them. But right, let me do that. Okay. F3. Right. Okay. F3U. 8Z. That's ZV3. There you go. Okay, you scale to the leader. That means you're going to find it very easy. Let me know if you got that, Cash T, before I move away from the start here. I'm trying to think what else is coming out. There's some other good games coming out that I thought, oh, you got to log in. Okay, all right. I'll wait a second and we'll just hang on. I like the way it says no turning back, and it's like I just came back. Completely lies, isn't it? We'll just wait a second. I shouldn't have done that, actually. While we're here, if anyone hasn't liked the stream or subscribed, and you like it, I mean, obviously don't if you don't like it, but yeah, please do. I'm just about to hit 2,800 subscribers, which is awesome. It's been a long old grind. Well, not a long old grind. So I've been doing this sort of pretty much full time. Let me know when you're ready, Cash, and I'll send you a new code because that one probably is expired. I really started focusing on content creation. It was about February of last year, so it's I'm sort of just about a year and a half now, coming up on probably a year and a half. So very happy with the progress so far, and it's certainly it comes and goes. It does ebbs and flows with expansion. So I got a nice few subscribers when this expansion came out. When Tiny Tina, and I did some content on that. I got quite a few people from that as well. I'm tempted to go back and play a bit of Tiny Tina as well, Tempest, because I know you were playing that. But I got to, I think I was maxed out after when they upped the Chaos Chamber level once. But then I stopped at that point. I haven't gone back. And I think, what is this, Chaos level 40 now? Because again, that felt like a bit of a grind. Let me just see about new games coming up. New games coming out 2022. This is where we get the game ranks one. Well, I haven't got a PS5, so I'm not going for God of War Ragnarok. All right. Let's just see what we've got coming up. Let's go jump to September. Lego Brawls. Hang on, this looks like last year. This has to be last year. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, that's not good. Yeah, because it's got deep... What games are coming up in 2022, it says? That's weird. Oh, no, it's, Overwatch 2. Nope, won't be playing that. Yeah, Evil West. That looks pretty good, but that's been delayed now, isn't it? I think that's the revised date. Yeah, Evil West looked pretty good, actually. Yeah, so I think it's really looking like November's the month with Evil West and Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. Look like the ones that to look out for. One game I did, so everyone knows. Hang on, let me just get the right screen so I can see your comment. It's okay. Yeah, let me give you another one. Hang on. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Tempest. It was, funny enough, it's all right. Here we go. Cash T. It's again. I think a lot of these. I think Tiny Tina's was a great game, and I mean, if people haven't played it, oh, there you go. You're already in. Nice. Was that you? Is that you? That's not you, is it? Let me get rid of that one. Kick from party. Doosh. Bye. Let me change it to closed. So it's just that's right. Here is your code, Cash. There you go, mate. I think Tiny Tina, suffered from some of the same problems that that this game does. Which is there's just not enough variety of content. Now they at least are introducing a bit more. Let me know if that works. And that's a 0 after the 8, not a O. And so, doing the chairs chambers again and again becomes repetitive and boring, was the problem. And so, I think people tended to just stop playing it as well. But, I mean, if you haven't played Tiny Tina's, at least the base game, definitely go and do it. I mean, the base game was really, really good. It's just, you've got a... whatever it is, 16-hour, 20-hour campaign. Great, that's what you get from it, and you can do some chaos chambers and have a bit of fun, and just stop playing it. It'd be interesting to see if they try and support it further with more seasonal content. We will see. Because I enjoy playing Tiny Tina's. I mean, funny is I kind of enjoy Borderlands, but then after a while, it's just there isn't enough variety in it. I think the only game that's kept me going for years. I mean, to be fair, I played Outriders for more than a year. How you doing, Akash? You got the code? Let us know. I played this for more than a year now, so I mean, yes, it's held my interest, but again, in part, it was to create the content. But I think the only game that's ever really kept me going for that long was Division, the original Division, because just the sheer number of game modes they had in there by the time they got to title update 18, I think it was the big one. They brought in things like I think it was Resistance was the last one that came in. That was just so many different things to do, and then they had all the global events, and it was just brilliant. It just there was always something different to go and do, and it's so much fun. And I mean, I'm so tempted just to jump back into the first game, and say, okay, let's try and get I don't know, some of us together. The 12 people who are watching at the moment, and again, thank you so much. 13 apparently concurrent viewers now. If we get all of us just to do survival on the Division, would be such a laugh. Because that was just the best mode. Now it'd be interesting to see if Heartland is able to deliver on that. So that's Division Heartland. I can't remember what the release date is. I think we've lost Akash T. I think we have. Akash, if you're around, shout. We're gonna. I think let's get in there and start hitting some things, because this has to be very boring for... Oh, no, look. Oh, is that... Yeah, it's you, isn't it? All right, awesome. Look at that. Borealis Monarch and... Ooh, the Sunfall, isn't it? And then what's on the back? Ooh, yes. Thunderlord. All right. You lead the way, Tempest. Do you want to do the Catacombs, or do you want to just run through to the end boss? Let's leave the Catacombs. Let's just run through to the end boss. Let's just destroy everything and get to the end. Oh no, I've lost them. Oh no, alright. Oh, that was awesome. It's like, I think there's just a bit of lag there. I'm going to turn my sound off so you don't hear it in the background. You'll follow me, all right, very good. Let's just go. I always do this one, the Temple of the Anomaly. So I'm really tempted to go back to the Division and start playing that. Just create a new character. I mean, it was such an iconic game as well. I mean, I'll never forget first time playing in New York, and I live in New York. Oh man, I've got a text I have to read this. All right. Let's see. So if they all scale to me, yeah, it looks like they do, because they all just die. let's just... Now, if you like this build I'm using, please have a look at the build guide. Ooh, the Impale build, nice. I started, that was I'm leveling up the Devastator at the moment, and that's what I'm running on that one. It is a rather fun Impale. Ooh. It was a bit laggy, wasn't it? He just kind of appeared. Alright, we've missed a couple. Let me go and get them. The only challenge about doing something like going back to the Division and playing something like that, of course, is what's the content you put out? Yeah, because I don't know. I think, yeah, Let's Plays are pretty much done by now. I'm not sure people really want to see that sort of content anymore. See how it scales up, can't you, really? So I don't do as much damage. Ah, there's one more. Alright, thank you. One day I'll have to try and work out the algorithm or that they use for exactly how everything scales. This is actually one of the other things is, yeah. So you've got this particular zone that you do, and as far as I'm aware, it never drops a legendary piece. And I'm kind of like, why not? Yeah, and you end up, what was it, nine pieces total? I'm like, eh. But this is everything, isn't it? You just spend most of your time just dismantling. I'm not sure. I'd say for the purposes, I'm just going to dismantle everything. I just don't want overloading. But from Brooklyn, hey, very good, Wilfredo. Yeah, yes, I am originally from England. Grew up grew up in Liverpool, moved to the South Coast, and then was in London for work, which is why I got sort of, well, I have a muddy London accent, but of course, probably, yeah, if you're outside of England, you wouldn't know that, because I know the British accent tends to sound pretty much the same. And then, but I've been in New York now for 16 years coming up on. I'm a US citizen now, so a dual national, as much as they let you be a dual national. But now I live out in the Hudson Valley, Wilfredo. So yeah, I like yeah. I mean, I know Brooklyn. I actually, yeah, I know Brooklyn well. I used to go down there quite often. It's great down. And so places like Fort Greene, Bed-Stuy, Clinton Hill, that sort of area, where I had some friends down there. Yeah, no, I very much like Brooklyn. Astoria, we go down there every now and again, but that's very hipster now. Too much bullshit. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Oh god, I'm not sure mine's going to load in. Oh, there it goes. I forget, Cash. Aren't you like you're in Europe somewhere, aren't you, or something like that? Which means it's either very late, but which is why it's a little bit laggier. Also, the PS4. But yeah, I don't go down to New York that often because I'm up in the Hudson Valley. I tend to stay up here. Just go down there for every now and again. All right. Ooh, 17 million hit. Not bad for... Ish. Don't hit me. Alright. Okay, he's on his axe phase. He's almost down. And there he goes. Right, I'm just going to delete everything other than the legendary, so I don't run out of space. Probably find this is when the perfect piece drops for me and I'll never know about it. Oh yeah, Bushwick, yeah. Yeah, way out, north of 84. So way out I'm in Dutchess County. Yeah, oh no, it's beautiful. Yeah, let's just push on. So I'm presuming, and yeah, unless anyone wants us to do a specific area. Yeah, nice. I mean, if any of you guys get a chance to get over to the Hudson Valley, I'd definitely check it out. It's all sort of, you know, farms and forests, rivers, and lots of breweries. If you like to go out and just sit outside and have a few beers, it's great for that. And it has internet, which is great. Always helps. So no, yeah, so it's the game front. It's yeah, it's a little bit quiet, isn't it? I think it was what's coming out in September. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, no, probably not for me. Why does it say Biomutant? That came out like a year ago, or was it? Oh, it's Biomutant coming out on next gen. Okay, all right, fair enough. All right. What else we got? Oh, Grounded finally comes out. I enjoyed that. I played that. You know, the I guess it was it beta or an alpha? Beta, probably. That was actually quite good fun. I liked that game. It didn't come out yet. Oh, that was silly. What else is? Nothing. God, it's so quiet. Everything just seems to be getting delayed, isn't it, into next year? It's quite depressing, really. Hey, what was it? Yeah, okay, yes. That was what I was going to say. Oh, sorry, I'm catching out. Okay, this has been on there. Yeah, Beacon. Yeah, no, Beacon is, yeah, it's probably about half an hour away from here. Yeah, blocks trains and Yeah, once you get outside of Manhattan or the five boroughs, you're lost. Yeah, no, it's yeah, Beacon is very cool now, albeit as long as you're a hipster. So if you know obviously coming from Brooklyn, you'll probably it might appeal, but 'cause it feels like 'cause it's basically now where all the hipsters come to at the weekend. Um, so it's lots of bars, very nice restaurants. It's a good fun place to visit. Um, but if you're a local, you kind of you go there fairly sparingly because it is just full of people in flannel shirts and beards. I haven't got a beard, don't fit him. But yeah, sorry, yeah, I was about to say, keep forgetting. So Redfall looks quite interesting as well. So that's the vampire one. The basically it's 4 players, I think, at a time, which sounds quite cool. So I guess it's a little bit like it looks like it's a little bit like Left 4 Dead, so Back for Blood, whichever one you want to call it. But with a bit more to it. And I saw on Twitch, not Twitch, on Twitter, one of the community managers was reaching out to content creators to say, okay, anyone interested in playing this? And I looked at it and I thought, yeah, I think that's the sort of game that actually a lot of us who like Outriders would like. So I contacted her and said, hey, look, I'd be interested in, getting into any open betas, anything, or even closed betas, but anything they're doing there. So I can find out a bit more about it and see if it's a game that I think a lot of you would like it as well. And so maybe that may be something to look at. I just can't remember when Redfall's due to be coming out. All right, let's pop on that. All right. In case anyone was wondering, that's the what is basically a Gears of War effect with that you get on the what was it? I forgot which one it's called now. From the submachine gun, but it's basically it's the same thing as you get in. So I'm trying to focus on two things at once here. In Gears of War, and that's partly because, of course, PCF developed some of the Gears of War stuff. So I'm assuming they had license to, right, we're good, to actually put it into the game. The First Ascendant, yes, that looks interesting as well, doesn't it? That's the other one that looks a little bit like, well, I wouldn't say it looks like Outriders, but it's the sci-fi looking one. That looks pretty cool as well, doesn't it? I think that definitely might be worth a shout out. Yeah, they might be. They might be trying to do too much. Yes, that was the one that was Project Magnum, wasn't it? But now has a name to it. Okay, that one's done. Man, this is going quick. The other thing I really like about this build is the fact that, because it's so uses freeze so much, it makes all of these sort of, I don't know what you call them, time ones, so easy in some respects. because you can just keep stuff out of the zone so easily. He says, letting someone in. Of course, that always happens. All right, that should be good. Right, there you go. Ooh, 17,000 here. Nice. All right, that one's done. 17,000, 17 million, sorry. All right, let's burn it down. What's my favorite character class on this? Good question. It depends. Now that's a cop out, isn't it? I mean, it varied. I mean, in the last expansion, I would say it was Pyromancer. In this expansion, it was either Pyromancer or yeah, probably Pyromancer. This expansion, I would say so far. I mean, it's probably leaning more towards the Devastator, to be honest, maybe. It's only because Tempest is here and he'll get upset if I didn't say that. But I think it's funny. It's more okay. So you know, I don't tend to have a strong favourite. I mean, my first character I ever did was Technomancer, and I loved it. And then I went off it a bit because it was just a bit. Everything was always the firepower builds, or there was the oh god, I hated the minigun. It was so slow. I did 2 build guides on it, but hey, it's a job. But yeah, I mean, in this expansion, I mean, to be honest, I love AoE builds. In some respects, I love AoE, or I love builds. I love the classes that give you the ability to do stupid things with. And to be fair, the Technomancer, obviously, I think is the most versatile in that respect because of its healing mechanic. And I think its class tree is a little bit easier in that respect. But I think the Devastator is damn close now to that as well. I think it's been given some great gear sets. It was clear. It's one of the things that I really didn't like what PCF did, because they basically, coming out of New Horizon, they said, okay, all these builds are really strong, so we're going to nerf them and make them less strong. We're going to bring them back down in line with everyone else. Oh, and the Devastator was, hadn't had enough love, so we're going to throw loads of love of it and now make it one of the strongest classes. And it absolutely is. I think, the Impale builds are just ridiculously strong. And I'm just like, okay, it feels a little bit like whack-a-mole. It's like, oh, there are these problems, so we'll screw everything else up in order to make them work better. Anyway, I'm digressing there, I guess, a little bit. Right now, I really do like this Technomancer build because I do like playing around and doing things that are just a little bit daft, to be honest. So if I can create builds that are just a little bit out there that no one else is doing, then I enjoy it. Probably the easiest thing to say is, what builds do I not like? And also, what classes? And I've never liked the Trickster. I'm sorry. For those of you who play Tricksters, I apologize. It's just, I'm not a bit, I don't really like shotguns. Never have. And so for me, and the Trickster quite often is built around shotgun meta. I mean, you can tell that this is like one of those things that when you look in the class tree of the Trickster, for some bizarre reason, they put the buff to assault weapons in the anomaly power section. And so basically said in order to do assault weapons, you've got to be a hybrid class, which I don't want to. And that frustrates me a little bit, but they kind of force you to go very much more down the shotgun route, which I just don't like them. Don't like shotguns. And Pyromancer, I have not played enough of yet, to be honest. I'm definitely behind where I should be on all of my classes. I've really just played the 3, which is I played a fair bit of Devastator. I did play Pyromancer in the open beta and got up to about sort of mid 50s, and it was fun, but they'd nerfed the AoE of it so much. It was it's such a shame that they did that. What's yours though, Lobo? What do you like? That's probably the more important thing. I was thinking about it a bit more, Lobo, and I suspect that my favourites this expansion will be Technomancer and Devastator, because I've just got the feeling that they will be able to use more than new gear sets, and they will be able to just do a little bit. It's just, as I said, the bit that I find fun is playing around and doing things you're not supposed to do. Not trying to break the game, but trying to make builds that shouldn't work but do. A bit like this one. This is a build that just it shouldn't really work, but it does. And I'll show you when we finish. Let's finish off this boss, Tempest of Cash, and then I'll quickly show people. If you haven't seen the build guide, I'll quickly show you how it gets that one, how you're getting all the damage, which enables it to act a bit like the Ash Blast overheat of the Pyromancer, and then also how it gets the cooldowns. And this build, I think I've still got 2 pieces I'm trying to get on it. But so the techno in this expansion I think is great because it is so versatile. The Devastator is really great this expansion as well because of again, it's just because they put so many buffs onto it. That's interesting. It doesn't normally do that. It's made it just so versatile that you can just get the most out of those classes. I think the Trickster is being, and the Pyromancer feel like they're being funneled just a little bit into specific classes, or the specific builds, and in particular, things like the Shield Beast build. Albeit I've seen, there are some great. Oh, this is not good. Let's pop that. Sorry about that. I hate it when you. That's an oddity as well. If you get into one of those ones where you can't reload, if you swap the gun and use your Moaning Winds and go back, it actually reloads the other weapon. It's just bizarre. I don't know why it does that. It's a nice little glitch. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Lobo. I think they do have just a lot of versatility. I think the class tree in the Techno is just well built as well. Okay, that's not bad, but I got one of those already. I don't really need that. I don't really need any of these, to be honest. Okay, I'm just going to dismantle it. Awesome. So let me just show the bits in here that make it work as it does. So there's a couple of the basically on this build the Blighted Rounds is purely to get the buffs to your anomaly damage and anomaly power through to the bone and alchemical mastery. I can't say that. I had to record it like 4 times when I did the build guide because I kept saying alchemical. That one. Then basically it's your cold snap is where you get all the damage from. So you got Ice Baby and Icicle Storm. So Ice Baby basically works but when you can get the second pop of cold snap. So you apply cold snap to freeze everything, then you hit it again. That scales, that does with anomaly power. Icicle Storm doesn't. Icicle Storm is a fixed amount. Ice Baby is a percentage of AP effectively. So the more AP you can get, the better. Virulent Compound, debuffs now. Virulent Compound, Captain Hunter, Freezing Boost, Shatter. Then Anomaly Echo, which I'm using for the buffs to Anomaly Power. Long Winter to give you the range on your Cold Snap. And then Euthanizer, another debuff. Sharp Eye is a dead mod. Yeah, I'd like to, if I can get the right chess piece for the Borealis Monarch, I can swap or change all this out. But it hasn't dropped yet. So I've got that dead mod on it at the moment. But Euthanize is great, and Unstoppable Force more anomaly power, which is what you want. The Death Renome I think is great because you're popping Blighted Rounds. It's never on cooldown, so it just helps with whenever you're going to use your cold snap. Obviously, your cold snap is not on cooldown, so you never have the 2 on cooldown when you want to use them. Does that make sense? So when you have 2 on cooldown, it's firepower. Every other time, it's anomaly power. And because Blighted Rounds is never on cooldown, or most of the time, and your other skill that you're going to be using won't be, it's always an anomaly power buff, which is great. Stigmatizers, it works. The extra explosion is quite nice. So you get that. So you got the Icicle Storm explosion, then you've also got the Stigmatizer explosion. So you get like multiple explosions coming, which is quite nice. Proliferation, it is what it is. You'll see with the pack tree, basically within the pack tree when we come onto it, every time I apply a status effect, it reduces cooldowns. So proliferation helps to apply more status effects. But I'd love to have anomaly mutant on it. Anomaly mutation, which is the one that basically applies more and more status effects as you shoot the same target, because that would have a better effect. But it works. Then you got the nuke. I never use it. You saw I use it about once or twice there, but it is great if you want to wipe stuff. This one, so it's got the three whack on there, which is nice. Yeah, I'm with you, Tempest. It's just Death Renome is just. I prefer Death Renome to Mage's Rage. So Mage's Rage is the other one you'll see a lot of people using. I don't know if I've got on any of these. But it's that's the one that gives you 10% anomaly power buff every time you get a crit shot. I just find that, particularly if you're playing solo, other than when you're going against the Arbiters and it's fairly easy because it's so big and you can just shoot the head all the time, I just find it hard to hit the crit shots when I really, really need them, whereas Death Renome is just there. It's there. So, yeah, I think that's good. So the thing that makes the whole thing work, the class tree is fairly bog standard. It's bottom tree, nothing really special. Picking up the vulnerability. Vulnerability is great because it was, it's never... It didn't get buffed. It didn't get nerfed with Worldslayer, which is great. So vulnerability for me is one of the best ones out there. It's the packs tree where you get it because you get a bit of buff to your anomaly power there, and then Hasten Influence is the one that really, really helps with the build. So basically, every time you apply a status effect or status effect applied to you drops off, you reduce your cooldown by 1 second on one of your skills. And that's the thing. So, because you're applying, and that's why I went actually with the cryo turrets as well, because I can get 2 of them out there. It's just you're applying status effects so quickly. And where you see where it goes bang, bang, and you're doing cold snap back to back, it's because the it counts the application, the status effects the cold snap is doing. So effectively, it just, you hit them with cold snap and it wipes your cooldown out again if you're in a big group of enemies, allowing you to hit them twice. And you're doing, you know, so I'm at whatever, I'm level 62 or something like that. It's doing about sort of 5 million of damage to an enemy. Yeah, and that's, so for any normal enemies that wipes them. It will come close to wiping an alpha perforer. The bit then that helps you to then wipe out any elites and the arbiters is burrowing charge. So that basically is, you know, you're hitting with them with your critical shots and you're getting your 250% of an army power's damage. And that's where you saw, like, you know, like that one, there was like a 17 million white hit. That's what that is. It's just that coming through. It's just does massive damage and allows you to really pump up your damage of just shooting things. So you're not completely relying on that cold snap, and that's how you then can take down the arbiters. Because otherwise, yeah, the challenge with the arbiters I find is, yeah, as long as you can, with the techno, as long as you can put out enough damage, you're not going to go down. Because your self-healing is so strong. You just have that one time when, I think with the last arbiter, where it can push you into, say, one of the, I tend to just circle around it in the sense of just very close to it, circling, so as it's doing the little circles, they always come behind you. But if it hits you, it can knock you out into one of the rings. Then you can hit twice at once by two different things, and that kills you. Yeah, you're not getting one shot, you're actually getting 2 or 3 shots. It just happens really, really quickly. But I find that with the with burrowing charge, you can put out so much damage that you only really go, you probably get to one of those at most, and then it's gone. But I mean, this build is, yeah, where it really excels is in expeditions, you saw earlier. So yeah, 10 out of 10%. I'd like to see a crit build as well. The bit that they killed for me was Embalmer's Rage, which I was so pissed off about. So if you don't, I don't know if you remember. So the way Embalmer's Rage used to work was, you, every time you killed something, it gave you all your shots became criticals for, I think it was 5 seconds. And then it dropped off, but it only had a 5-second cooldown. So in theory, if you could, you know, keep hitting crits after that, it just come back again. Now they've changed it so that it has a 6-second cooldown, and it's only up for 3 seconds. So suddenly you got a 3-second gap, and that completely. Yeah, it doesn't destroy crit builds, but it makes it much harder to get them to work compared to how it was before, which I think is a shame because crit builds are so much fun. You know, I did the crit rage one ages ago on the Techno with the using the Amber Volt, and it just melted. It was just so much fun because you just every single shot coming out as a crit was just hilarious. Yeah, I agree with you, Tempest. I mean, I just think. I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll wrap this up in the last 10 minutes now, and you know, I'll let you all get back to your lives. But thanks so much. Yeah, I mean, we've had basically 12, 11 or more people on this entire stream. So thanks so much for everyone for coming out and watching and listening. I hope you got the impression or get the understanding. I'm going to try and do more live streams. I'm very keen just to talk to people and to be able to answer questions, debate stuff, talk about it, you know, and just have a chat really. And, you know, hopefully this will become something of a hangout place for people. But we had all these builds that worked and were really good. And PCF basically killed pretty much all of them. Now, yeah, and they recognised that they made a mistake, which is why in the previous patch, whenever it was last month, back in the last month, they actually walked quite a few of the nerfs back, particularly on the firepower builds. So on the class tree, all of these ones had been nerfed down. I can't remember, they went like 8%. Now they've been brought back to where they were before. So I'm just going to swap gun because that's annoying me. It's doing the vibration because of the blighted rounds. And yeah, so they've walked some of them back, but there's still a lot of builds that have been hit so hard that they're not unplayable. They're just really hard to play, and I think that's such a shame. So I think about things like the Ash Blast Overheat got hit really badly, and it's I think it's in a better place now, but it certainly isn't where it was. And the question is why? Why did you feel the need to kill all these builds that people enjoyed playing? It wasn't like there was, single metas and no one did anything else. There were tons of builds that people played and people had good fun playing them. Why did you need to get rid of all of those and start again? I kind of go, why? I mean, why couldn't you just give us new content to play with the same builds plus more? Yeah, it was just this thing about, with the Devastators are great. It felt like a lot of the classes were brought down to the level of the Devastator. And I don't mean this, Tempest is like, Devastator's brilliant. And Devastator, I love Devastators. But yeah, and then they buffed Devastators as well. But they should have just brought everything up. They should have just brought everything up to the same level as that tier. Because when you think about it, with this expansion, they balanced everything off your level. So every enemy you face is either +1, +2, or +3 levels above you. So so basically, and by bringing in the Apocalypse tiers rather than having the World tiers and the Challenge tiers, they reset all the difficulty levels. Okay, just reset them so they were set at the level they wanted them to be, off of the meta builds, or maybe not the meta builds, but slightly below the meta builds. I mean, it's fine to have some builds that are better than others. That's okay. You're never going to balance it so it's exactly equal. But you could have balanced it and just brought everything else up to, say, the level of the metas, just by tweaking all the percentages or whatever. And then, we would have had a game that people would have continued to use some of the builds they really liked, but then would have tried some new ones. Yeah, I mean, this thing you say, they wanted people to use other builds, but they kind of forced us to. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, it's fine to say, hey, look, there are all these builds out there that we think you should be using. Okay, make them good, but leave us the builds we also were playing before. Yeah, make them good, and we'll go, oh yeah, they are good. All right, I'll try them out. That's cool. Let's go and play them. But as soon as you start to force the community to do something, then, yeah, that's when people go, well, I don't want to play anymore. Yeah, particularly, I mean, I had so many people reach out to me, and say, I spent, 50 hours or whatever it is, grinding in New Horizon. I got all my builds, perfect, everything God roll, brilliant. And now this build is rubbish, and I don't have time to do it again. And so I'm just going to stop playing. So it was just, it was. I do some of them or a lot of them are crap. They really are. Yeah, there are still some. I don't really understand why they came out with the 3-piece builds or the 3-piece armor sets. Yeah, everything was 5-piece, and now we've got 3 set pieces. Because because it basically, that when you think about build diversity, having 5 pieces allows you to play around with which piece you're picking from where. 3-piece, you're fixed into, it's got to be head, chest, and legs. That's it. If I want to do Maxwell Demon, it has to be head, chest, legs, because those are the only 3 pieces that drop. That's just actually reduced my build diversity, so I don't quite get that. No, exactly. Yeah, they don't which is why I'm desperately trying to make as many builds that only use skills, just to piss them off. There you go. Maybe I should do a compilation of the best skill builds that PCF couldn't nerf. So maybe. Brilliant stuff. All right, well, let's. There's a few games coming out maybe that we can jump onto. We will see. I will let you know if anything comes of the Redfall, because that does look interesting. I can't see its release date though, so it's probably, maybe it's not till next year. Oh, Callisto Protocol in December could be awesome. That's by the guy team that did the original Dead Space. So that one could be awesome. Definitely worth having a look at, or at least seeing the reviews when they come out. Yeah, I don't see on this list when Redfall's likely to come out, but I will let you know as soon as I find out, because I think that could be quite cool. Hopefully, we will see. Yeah, I think you can get it for free. I think it might be on. Hang on, let me just have a look on. Oh, yeah, let's get out of here before, because as soon as I come out of here, of course it will crash. Oh look, you can't get out that way. That's weird. If you're playing solo, you can get out this way without triggering the end scene. Huh. Alright, I guess I can just abandon and, well. Alright, what I'll do is I'll disband the party, guys, because, well, let's just finish this, because I can get out of here. And then I'll because it's gonna kill it, and as soon as I because it's the game it tends to end for me on Xbox if I come out of it. So at least it won't feel that I've kicked everyone from the group. Oh god, it still makes you run down here, does it? In a party? That's really annoying. In which case, I think I'll just abandon. I've done it enough times. Alright, so while that's abandoning, yeah, cool. You'll probably get kicked in a second, because I think my game will probably shut down as soon as I do this. But I think The Division may still be on Game Pass. And it'd be on the PC Game Pass as well, potentially. No, it's gone now. Shit. So I don't know. I mean, how much is it though? Sorry if everyone who's watching. What are they doing? Let's have a look for The Division. Madden. No. I've never played a Madden game. But that's probably because I don't think American football's a proper game. Alright. The original Division. Oh, yeah, look at that. $7.49 for the original Division. So, yeah, if people want to play, actually, Tempest, if you want to play, I'll happily play with you on that one. And, yeah, because I think it's... Now, the only thing is, that's just the base game. You probably... Yeah, so I wonder... Bloody hell, $16 for the original and Division 2. That's really good. The bit will be to get everything. So the Last Stand and Survival, that's where you might need to buy the gold edition of $50. So that's, yeah. So that's the only thing is, I would get the base game for, yeah, as you say, £1.50 is not bad at all, is it? Get the base game, and if you really like it, then see if you can get the Survival is the one to get. So basically, with Survival, you're dropped into, it's a bit like a battle royale, but you can make it purely PvE. But the whole premise is you're dropped in, your helicopter crashes in New York, it's freezing cold, and you are infected with a disease. So that gives you a timer effectively. If you stay outside for too long, you freeze. But you have to go around and scavenge stuff, including, you know, and kill enemies, and to eventually get an extraction out of there and survive. It should have been a standalone game. It could have been the best battle royale ever because it's such a good mode. And that's why I'm hopeful that, yeah, they're talking about a couple of different games that are in development for the Division. So you got Heartland, and then there's another one that's not been named, which everyone is hoping is a survival type game because it was just so much fun. It was so fun, it was. So I won't say any more on that. Awesome stuff, everyone. Did my game crash? No, it didn't. Oh, cool. Rhaegar, great to talk to you all. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you enjoyed that. And I may well put a poll out with, you know, sort of a list of some of the games that I think you would be interested in seeing content on, just to get your views on it. Yeah, it'd be really good to get some sort of feedback on what people want to see. So have a great one. Enjoy the weekend. We're at the weekend. Whee! Go and have fun. Get outside. And yeah, I will speak to you all probably. I'm actually going to be away next week, but I might be back on Friday. If I am, I'll set up a live stream and we'll hang out. It'll be cool. All right. Laters.